Why do you think brands and companies need to start behaving differently? Because at the time when you set up Thai, purpose-led companies wasn't as big as it is today. It's still not big enough. But why do you think brands and companies need to behave differently?
Yeah, and it's a really good question. And you're right, 10 years ago, I mean, it's crazy when I think back to the conversations that we were having. And actually, I mean, the world is a very different place. And obviously, it's actually getting a bit easier now to do what I do now than it was 10 years ago. But I think it rests on two very simple dynamics. One, it's the consumers that need and want brands and companies to behave differently. And it's the employees. I think it's as simple as that. I think if you look at the consumers, people are becoming much more discerning. People are well aware of what's happening with the world, climate change being one of the challenges that we face. And we know that consumerism is a huge contributor to that. We know that, I mean, there's just so many challenges that our world faces, and people want to feel like they can be a part of making the world a better place and a part of that change. And I think if people feel that they can do that through what they buy and the services that they buy or the products that they buy, then they feel that they are doing their part to try and make a difference. And we know that through Unilever and Meaningful Brands, we know that they have outperformed their other brands. This year, I was at a presentation and somebody from Unilever was talking about that. And so we know that there's a lot of opportunity there. And so I think that's part of it. But I think the other part of it is employees. The best employees that are coming into the workplace now, they are looking for companies that have a purpose. And we're not talking about companies that just are, talking about doing good things. We're talking about, walking the talk, being, having a purpose all the way through, the company. And I think it's interesting. I think things are changing now. People used to think that you had two choices in life. One was to do, to do good. You had to work in the third sector or the public sector, or you could do well and you work in the private sector. And I think we now recognize that actually you can do both in the private sector, and it's those companies that recognize that opportunity and that potential. Once you find that purpose and people actually believe in it and understand it and recognize it, then, people will want to work in those companies.